Right, so for today's video, we actually have an update on a situation we spoke about a few days ago at the point of you watching this video, and it's the hairstylist drama. And more specifically, it's a situation involving Lindsay, a TikTok with 400,000 followers, and justgoldiee, a TikTok with 26,000 followers, also a hairstylist. Because since my last video, there has been a few videos that have been uploaded. There was a few videos uploaded by Goldie that are very similar to the stuff that we already know, but there's actually a new video uploaded by Lindsay, so her response to Goldie's response, right? And it's interesting because not only is it a response, she also makes it clear that she is actually taking legal action because of this situation. Now, in case you don't know about the situation, you haven't seen my last video, I would recommend watching that because there's a lot more detail on that. I'm going to give a very brief recap here that's going to miss a lot of detail. So if you haven't heard of this situation yet, I would recommend that video first. But long story short, Lindsay went to Goldie to get her hair dyed. She'd already been to Goldie a few times before in exchange for like Instagram promotion and whatnot. This time she was paying to get her hair dyed. She wasn't happy with it. She said it was like a grey colour. We've seen the pictures. It does look fairly grey, right? It's not the colour she wanted. She wanted it more blonde. And then after not being happy with her hair, she went back, got it dyed again, and still wasn't happy. And it resulted in a bunch of videos from Lindsay and then some responses from Goldie. Now, ultimately, once everyone saw both sides of the story, and to be honest, even before Goldie posted her video, this was the case, 95% of people seemed to be on Goldie's side and felt like Lindsay was kind of dealing with this the wrong way, like taking it to social media, saying she's going to talk about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And a lot of people seem to think that this has been blown up like way bigger than it had to be. And in my last video, I basically came to the conclusion that, of course, Lindsay has every right to be upset with her hair. If it's not the way that she wanted her hair to be done, then completely fair enough, right? Like, you're allowed to feel however you want to feel about that. And I just think that the backlash that she got from these videos was because of the videos themselves. Like the way she kind of dealt with the situation, not the fact that she was just like upset about it. But yeah, like I said before, a lot of details missed out of that recap. So again, I would recommend checking out the original video. But either way, let's actually get into Lindsay's newest video where she mentions the legal action and then also gives her thoughts on Goldie's response and like the comments she's been receiving.
This is going to be the last and final video that you will see about the hair drama because it is now going into legal hands. So once this video is done being posted, the rest of my page will be back to my scheduled content.
Now, I will say, the first time I watched this video, I was kind of confused like how this is going to be dealt with legally because she went to have her hair dyed. It got dyed, she wasn't happy with it, and she received a refund. So I'm thinking, like, what could she possibly sue for here? Now, she does go into a bit more detail about this later, and it's not to do with the fact that she wasn't happy with, like, her hair and whatnot. It's more to do with the salon itself, but we'll get to that. But Lindsay goes on to say that she never bullied anyone. I guess there was, like, comments of people saying that she was, like, bullying Goldie, and she says that's not the case. She was just sharing her opinion.
Number one, I never bullied anybody. Sharing an experience online and calling somebody unprofessional is not bullying.
And then Lindsay goes on to say that because of Goldie's video, she's now receiving a lot of hate.
I'm getting death threats every day. I hope that she is not getting that, especially now that her son is involved. She's making repetitive videos. I posted the videos that were connected from my story time and the hairstylist video.
Okay, so a few things to say about this part, right? If people actually are leaving like hateful comments and whatnot and sending threats, obviously, that is absolutely disgusting. No one should be doing that. But it is important to note that Goldie's not making videos telling people to hate on Lindsay and send her threats and whatnot, right? That would be absolutely mental. Like, from everything that I've seen, Lindsay has posted her side of the story, spoke about the situation first, and then Goldie has responded and told her side of the story. They're kind of in the same boat. Now, Lindsay does say here that Goldie has made, like, repetitive videos in a situation, which I, again, don't really understand because they've both uploaded 7 videos on a situation. So they've uploaded the same amount of videos. Do you see how that doesn't make sense? But yeah, regardless, anyone who is leaving like hateful comments and threats and whatnot, it's absolutely disgusting. I don't understand that for the life of me. And yeah, I don't get it. And unfortunately, in these type of situations, it seems like some people tend to do that. It's grim. Now, if you remember in Goldie's response video, she says that Lindsay used like 2 full bottles of Dawn dish soap. Now, Lindsay is responding to this saying that that isn't true, and she washed her hair once because she didn't want to damage it because it was being fixed on Friday.
I also never used 2 bottles of Dawn dish soap. That is also a lie. Between me and my mom, you could see the staining of the gray on my forehead, and then here is me literally stating that I only washed it once. Not 2 bottles of dish soap. I knew she was going to be fixing my hair on Friday, so I did not want to destroy the hair that I knew was going to be fixed.
Yeah, so obviously this part of the story, we don't really know, right? No one knows if she did use 2 full bottles or where that came from. Obviously in Goldie's video, she's saying that that was a conversation they had in person, I believe. The second time that Lindsay like kind of came back to get her hair fixed. And then Lindsay is saying that she only washed her hair once, and she shows some text messages that she sent to her mum, basically saying the same thing. Now with the whole Friday thing, obviously we spoke about that in the last video. It seems like, to me at least, that Lindsay's just misunderstood Goldie's text, because Goldie reached out and said, look, let's give it till Friday and I'll reach out on Friday and then we can discuss what we're going to do further. But Lindsay keeps saying, obviously in this video and the previous videos, that the hair was being fixed on Friday. That was the plan. And we haven't seen anywhere where that was the plan. Now at this point, Lindsay goes on to say the only reason she even uploaded the videos in the first place was because she felt like she was being gaslit, and then says that she never asked for ashy blonde. In Goldie's video, if you remember, she says that when they were talking about the color, she said that she wanted it like these pictures, but like a bit darker.
The reason I posted the video is because I was gaslit in the chair and told that my hair was beach blonde, my regular blonde color, when it was not. And then I was told to get out. I also never asked for an ashy blonde hair. $130 an hour for 3 to 5 hours. I showed her these 2 photos, this one and also this one. In my eyes, those were not ashy blonde. If the stylist thought that those were a cooler ashy, whatever you want to call it, I'm not a hairstylist, I don't know the colors, gray, blonde, she should have pulled up a photo on her phone and showed me and asked me if that was what I wanted before we started.
Now, obviously, this is kind of like a tricky part in the story to even really have that much of an opinion on, right? Because they had the consultation, they've met up multiple times in person to talk about this. Who knows what the conversation was like? They're obviously both telling 2 very different sides of the story. Now, in Goldie's video, she said that when Lindsay came back to have her hair fixed after the first time, she mentions that this has happened before at like a previous appointment, and Goldie was saying like, okay, right, we don't want to do the same thing they did before because I don't want to damage your hair. Now, Lindsay is saying that this was actually said at the beginning of the appointment, and I guess Goldie got like the timeline wrong in Lindsay's opinion.
And yes, I showed her in the beginning of our appointment my hair that had turned an ashy, cooler, whatever tone blonde in the past, and specifically asked her not to do it like this. I did not do it at the end of the appointment. That is also another lie. Here are the photos from 2019. This is how my hair is, like this silvery color. I asked her not to make it like this. I also showed her this one. That stylist fixed my hair the same day when he knew that I was unhappy, and I've been seeing him for years since.
Yeah, I think with the whole color thing, I think everyone can like universally agree that the color didn't come out right. Maybe even both times, right? Especially like the first time it didn't come out how Lindsay wanted, and I don't think many people are really disputing that. The stuff that the majority of people seem to have a problem with is the stuff around it, like the videos, the way she kind of went around the whole situation, making a video since she's going to talk about it for weeks and whatnot. Also, another big part was that we were told that Goldie used to do Lindsay's hair for free in exchange of like Instagram promotion. Now, in Lindsay's video, she goes on to say that she has actually tipped Goldie every time that she's done her hair, even regardless of when it was the Instagram promotion.
I have always given Goldie money as a tip, even though she didn't charge me for a service after.
And I do think that is important, right? It does seem like, from what we can tell right now, that Lindsay has given like $200, $300 in that range each time she's had her hair done. So fair enough, right? Because obviously a big criticism was saying like, oh, you've had your hair done for free multiple times and now the one time you're paying, it's now became a situation. It doesn't seem like that's the case. But now at this point in the video, we hear some more stuff where it's just kind of like, who do you believe? Because there's no real proof on either side and they've got 2 very different sides of the story. In Goldie's video, she's saying that after the second time she dyed the hair, Lindsay was like towering over her and screaming at her, and that's why she asked her to leave. Lindsay said that's not true.
I never screamed at her. I never towered over her. I sat in the chair and I cried and I asked her why she did this to me. And she told me, I didn't do anything. Your hair is blonde, when it was clearly a very dark color. Call it copper, call it brown, call it whatever you want. It was not blonde.
And then also goes on to say that she has every right to have a refund, which, yeah, fair enough. And she did get a refund, right?
And I have every right to get a refund when my hair is not anything how I like it, and I've been back twice.
Yeah, I don't think the whole refund thing is that important at this point, because she did get a refund, and obviously she's saying she had every right to get a refund. Fair enough. She did get it, so it's not really that big of a deal at this point. Like, usually when we talk about situations like this, the refund is a big part of it, because usually the client hasn't got a refund after something's went wrong, and that is like a big part of it, right? But in this case, she got the refund. That obviously can't go into like a potential lawsuit or whatnot, but we'll get to that in a second. Because Lindsay then goes on to mention creators that have made like parodies of the situation, and she says like shame on them for making them videos, and then also goes on to respond to claims, I guess, that she's doing this just for money, and she says that she wouldn't put herself through this trauma just for money.
All of these big creators that are taking my video and making parody versions and trying to make me look like such a terrible person, shame on them. That's how they're getting money. That's how they're getting paid. I'm also getting paid off of this. I've been very straightforward with you guys from the get-go that I get paid off of TikTok. I didn't make this whole story to get paid off of TikTok about my hair. I wouldn't go through the emotional trauma of my hair being screwed up to make a couple $100. That also doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any like parodies, I guess. Like the way she's saying parodies, I'm expecting like people to make like skits and stuff about this, pretending to also be like a client who's complaining about a hairstylist. I haven't personally seen them, but maybe she's just directly talking about them videos. I don't know if she's just talking about anyone like making videos about this situation, because obviously to that, anyone's response would be, people are allowed to voice their opinions the same way that she voiced her opinions. But now this is where we get to the legal stuff, because Lindsay says that she's been in contact with multiple attorneys now, and it's not because of like a refund or the hair situation in particular, I guess. It's because she is saying that Goldie runs a salon illegally.
Yes, I am getting in touch with multiple lawyers about the whole entire thing and letting things play out in the hands of the law. At the end of the day, it is an illegal hair salon without a business license in an HOA property that does not allow it.
Now, interestingly, when I was looking into the situation to see if there's any more information that I missed, I saw this video by Alexandra Bueno, who's a TikToker, talking about this situation, and someone commented on her video saying, is she getting a lawyer because she's afraid Goldie will sue for defamation? And Alexandra Bueno actually replied saying, no, she has taken legal action against Goldie for defamation, according to her comments on her update video. Now, Alexandra Bueno replied to a few comments saying this, right? But if I go to the comments on Lindsay's video, she doesn't mention defamation. Now, she has left multiple comments, but this is all of them that I can see at least. That says, never use 2 bottles of Dawn dish soap, never ask for ashy silver blonde, never use purple shampoo. I keep getting these questions. I think people may be confused. I went to her originally and she accidentally gave me grey hair. I went back to her to fix it and she put a darker toner over my hair, then told me my hair was blonde. And I want to make it clear, I did trust her. I went back and she turned it the dark colour. If I did not trust her with my hair, I would have not went back. Colour correction screenshot was out of order. The average in my area is $100 to $150 per hour. Now, unless Alexandra Bueno just made this up for some weird reason, which I don't see why she would do, it might have been a deleted comment that's not there anymore. And if that is the case, I just don't see how Lindsay is ever going to win a case against Goldie for defamation. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, Lindsay went online first. She's the much bigger creator. She made multiple videos, 7 at this point, right? Talking about the situation, and Goldie responded, giving her side of the story. I don't see how she could ever sue for defamation. I can't see that going well. The illegal salon part, who knows? I don't know the ins and outs of Goldie's work. I don't know what she does. So we don't really have much details on that. We just have what Lindsay said here. Lindsay then goes on to reply to people that were saying that she was like harassing Goldie in these messages. And Lindsay says that it might look like that, but it was actually over the course of days.
I also want to point out the fact that it may look like I'm harassing her, but if you look at the timestamps of the messages, they are sent over the period of 3 days. Bottom line is, she should have never let me leave the salon when I was unhappy with my hair the second I looked in the mirror. She should have taken accountability, fixed my hair that day. I got out of there around between 3 and 4 o'clock. She could have easily done something to my hair so I would leave happy.
I mean, from what I can tell, it seems like Goldie said, like, we'll sort this out as soon as possible, but you should probably go back now, see how, like, the colour sits in your hair, and then see what your thoughts are and what you want to do next. And again, from what I can tell, the only reason it seemed to take a couple of days after that was because Thanksgiving was on the Thursday, and they got back in contact on the Friday. She was just off work on the Thursday. I don't know, I just feel like the way that it's kind of worded in this video makes it seem as if it was like months of waiting with nothing back, and in which case I would completely understand it. But from what we can tell, I feel like it was just like 2 days. But Lindsay carries on by showing some timestamps of the messages, because obviously people were saying that she was like harassing her with the messages, and this is what she had to say.
Here are timestamps: 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock the next day. I was not blowing her phone up. This is over a period of time. And as a professional, you should respond back and say, I will get back in touch with you, not just completely ghost your client. 9:30, the day we were supposed to get together at some point. And I waited until 12 to text her again. This was the day of the appointment. As soon as I left, when she knew I was upset, I had texted her. And then no response, so I sent her a picture at 5 after I washed my hair one time with Dawn dish soap.
Yeah, I mean, looking at them timestamps, it seems like she gave her like a few hours to reply each time. And then obviously there was like Thanksgiving in the middle as well. And Goldie said in her video, it wasn't just these text messages, it was also like Instagram DMs and a voicemail. I don't think Lindsay actually addresses that at all in this video. So I don't know, it is a lot of messages in a short period of time, but yeah, obviously Lindsay saying it's over a course of a few days, which it seems like it is. But yeah, like I said before, I completely understand her being upset with the fact that her hair didn't go the way that she wanted it to. That is completely fine, and even the messages, right, she was maybe like panicking about it, she really cares about her hair, and she wanted to get it sorted. I do think the main issue is obviously like the videos coming up and whatnot. Quite a lot of videos of them as well, and she was saying I'm going to be speaking about this for weeks. And now of course a big part of her response is saying that she didn't like the fact that Goldie's made repetitive videos, even though she said she was going to talk about it for weeks. This is like the problem to me. I don't feel like the videos of this situation make any sense really. I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why the situation is so big at the minute is because of these videos being posted in the first place, right? And that's why this became such a big situation, and it's now going to be handled legally apparently. So it's became such a massive situation when it didn't really seem like it needed it to be. But now getting towards the end of the video, Lindsay goes on to say that anyone who believed Goldie from her videos, shame on you.
So for those of you guys to believe the first thing that she says and run with it and come to my page and hate on me, shame on you. And shame on you for sending death threats, harassments, and fake things to the dental board to try to get me fired, all because I posted that I was unhappy with my hair experience.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, anyone who did see the situation and decided sending like threats and like contacting a job, I don't understand that at all. It's grim. I don't get it. That's so wrong. But again, I do feel like you need to mention that Goldie isn't making these videos saying like, oh, go and send her death threats, obviously, right? That's an important point to make. I think you've got to make that clear. And at the end of the day, they both kind of did the same thing. They both made videos talking about the situation, telling their side of the story. The exact same amount of videos, in fact. But either way, she now ends the video saying that she is shocked at how like evil the world can be, and now it's being handled legally.
The rest of it's in the law's hands, and I will be going about my scheduled content.
And yeah, that is Lindsay's response. I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. I can't read through the comments because they're turned off, or at least the majority of them are turned off. There's one comment that's got through for some reason. It says, and you said you paid the new stylist, meanwhile you posted that you'll use the proceeds from the video to compensate her, so you don't pay her, just enough a collab. Talking about this new hairstylist who like fixed her hair. I don't know why this is the one comment on there, but it is. But looking at other creators that have spoke about this situation, spoke about this response in particular, like Alexandra Bueno, for example, reading through the comments in that video, it seems like people aren't exactly happy with this response either, with comments like, so Lindsay wants to post multiple videos of her crying and crashing out over her hair, blaming Goldie, but Goldie's not allowed to make videos, LMAO. Lindsay started this and she doesn't like the way it turned. Oh my god, getting an attorney on this is so silly. So what I'm getting is Lindsay started the defamation on Goldie, and then Goldie defended herself, and now Lindsay is mad. Like, come on, it was a toner, not melted hair. Right, so a quick update since I recorded the part of the video that you've just been watching, because Just Goldie, the hairstylist in the situation, has actually responded. It's a pretty short video, but she addresses some of the things that Lindsay's been saying, so let's give it a watch through. I haven't actually seen this yet.
Let's remember who started this and who put my name in the caption. I have never once mentioned her name.
Yeah, I think that is an important thing to know, right? Lindsay did obviously start with the videos and also did mention Goldie in the videos. So of course, bearing that in mind, Goldie is going to respond, right? She has every right to do so.
She came on here as if I haven't been her stylist for 2 years and I don't know everything about her. So I want to make it really, really clear that this will go nowhere. I am fully licensed, I have the right documents, and I have the proper setup.
Right, so that is clearly a big part of the story, right? Goldie is saying this will go nowhere because I am properly licensed, I have the right documents, effing is correct. There is nothing that you can claim against me here. Now, obviously we don't know, right? Two very different points of view here between like Goldie saying that she is licensed, has the right documents, and Lindsay saying that this is like an illegal salon, basically. But if what Goldie is saying here is true, I have no idea how this would go anywhere, right? Because at the end of the day, what can Lindsay really do at that point? I guess defamation is a thing that most TikTokers or influencers or whatever like kind of do in this situation. And again, I just don't feel like she has a case in that regard at all.
I can very confidently say that that is the first person that I have ever asked to leave. So where are the receipts? Really, if anybody has ever been in that situation with me and they have not had a good experience, please let me know. I will do anything to rectify that, and I know that everybody knows that, which is why it hasn't happened to me.
Okay, so Lindsay did say in her video that she has been like told by other people that they had a very similar experience with Goldie. The problem with that is, it depends on how she's been told, right? If someone just, like, messaged her, or it was, like, a comment left in a video being like, oh, I've been to it too, really horrible experience, did the same thing with me, that, at the end of the day, is just, like, an anonymous comment, right? Unless she's also been sent proof, like, in the messages that people have been through something similar. Who knows? Now, Goldie is actually, like, challenging Lindsay at this point to be like, right, show the proof that people were saying this. So she seems very confident about it. But again, we don't know, right? We're not there. We don't know these people personally. So who knows?
And while I'm sitting here wondering why is this bothering me more than it should have, especially if a lot of these rumors and stipulations are not true. And it dawns on me that this isn't the first time this has happened to me. I am that girl that has never been accepted into a friend group because I wasn't as cool or I wasn't as good as they were. This isn't new for me. So everyone who has followed me, commented, messaged me, and given me the platform to speak and the safe space to be able to stand up for myself, I appreciate you so much. If you are a stylist that is claiming not to be biased but is entirely against everything that I have done in this whole situation, shame on you. This makes you part of the problem. The decision I'm making from here on out is to never stop standing up for myself, and I will continue to do so. This is my story, not yours.
Okay, so that's the full video. Clearly, Goldie is standing very strong on her side of the story, and Lindsay's doing the same. Two very different sides of the story, right? And there are some parts of it that, like, we don't have, like, proof on and whatnot, so who knows? But there is also a lot of parts in the story that we have seen with, like, text messages and whatnot, and parts of the stories that did align, but they had very different opinions on that part of the story. So with that being said, I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below on everything that we spoke about from both points of view, and I'm going to leave the video there. So if you did enjoy, please do leave a like on it, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.